In less than 48 hours, the 240-year legacy of Sevastopol has literally gone up in flames, with losses reaching up to $2.5 billion. Putin is not only losing ships, he is losing permanent control of the Black Sea forever. How can a country without a navy destroy 30% of a superpower's naval strength? Join us as we break down the death trap at Sevastopol right now. The Russian Navy is not retreating. It is disintegrating in flames. In less than 48 hours, the legendary 240-year-old naval base at Sevastopol has literally gone up in smoke. Losses have already reached $2.5 billion, and Putin is not just losing ships. He is losing permanent control of the Black Sea forever. How does a country with almost no navy destroy 30% of a superpower's fleet? The answer is playing out right now in the waters off Crimea, and it is humiliating Russia on a scale the world has never seen. What do you think is happening to Putin's once invincible Black Sea fleet? Is this the beginning of the end for Russia's naval power, or can they still recover? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because this story is exploding and your opinion matters. Inside the gilded halls of the Kremlin, the silence is becoming deafening. Vladimir Putin once viewed the Black Sea Fleet as the iron fist of his southern foreign policy, an invincible armada led by admirals who promised total maritime dominance. But today that image is shattered. Behind closed doors, the Russian Ministry of Defense is reportedly in a state of controlled panic. The high command, once arrogant and certain of victory, now watches helplessly as their billion-dollar assets are dismantled by a nation without a formal navy. Putin is no longer just losing a fleet, he is facing the humiliation of a superpower whose naval doctrine has been rendered obsolete by off-the-shelf technology and Ukrainian ingenuity. Then everything changed. The momentum broke, and it never came back. The same fleet that once ruled the Black Sea without challenge is now in full, humiliating retreat toward its own shores. Russia began the war with more than 80 ships and support vessels in the Black Sea. By April 2026, it had lost roughly 30% of that force. But the real disaster is not just the numbers. It is the desperation. Russian ships can no longer sail in open waters. The legendary Sevastopol base is no longer a safe harbor. It has become a shooting gallery for Ukrainian drones. The remaining vessels have fled to Novorossiysk, but even that port is no longer considered safe. Russia's Black Sea fleet is now trapped between Crimea and the Sea of Azov. Every single port has turned into a death trap. The most devastating phase came on the night of April 18th to 19th. Ukrainian special forces infiltrated the Gulf of Sevastopol in a precision strike that will be studied for years. Their primary targets were two massive landing ships, the Yamal and the Nikolai Filchenkov. These vessels form the backbone of Russia's operational power in the Black Sea, and were together worth more than $150 million. Ukrainian kamikaze drones slammed straight into the command bridges of both ships. This was not random. Ukraine has learned the golden rule of this war: always hit the most expensive and hardest to replace part. When they strike air defense systems, they target the radars, because without radar, even the mighty S-400 becomes a blind and useless weapon. The same deadly logic applied here. Piercing the hull might cause temporary damage, but destroying the bridge, the radars, and the entire electronic command center permanently cripples the ship. Video footage shows the hits were devastating, and Ukrainian intelligence has confirmed both vessels are now out of service for the foreseeable future. But Ukraine did not stop at the ships. In one coordinated night, they dismantled the entire protective network around the fleet. Coastal surveillance radars were destroyed. Communication networks that allowed units to coordinate were severed. The patrol boats guarding the port entrance were hit and left burning. The massive fuel depot in Kazakia Bay was set ablaze. Think about what that means. No radar means you cannot see the threat coming. No communication means you cannot coordinate a defense. No patrol boats means the port gates are wide open. And when your fuel is burning, nothing can move. This wasn't just a strike on individual vessels. It was a systematic execution of Russia's Soviet-era naval prestige. By targeting the Yamal and the Nikolai Filchenkov, Ukraine didn't just sink steel, they incinerated the relics of empire. These Ropucha and Alligator-class landing ships were the primary workhorses of Russia's amphibious capability. Alongside the intelligence ship Slavatich and the large landing ship Azov, these vessels represented the backbone of Russian power projection. Ukraine is effectively clearing the chessboard piece by piece, focusing on the most expensive and strategically irreplaceable assets that Moscow simply cannot rebuild under current sanctions. Russia cannot replace these losses. Large landing ships like the Yamal and Nikolai Filchenkov are Soviet-era relics from the 1970s and 80s. Their mass production stopped decades ago. Russia's shipyards that once launched dozens of vessels a year now struggle for years to complete even a single frigate. The only new large landing ship project, the Ivan Gren class, took 14 years from start to service. At that pace, replacing the lost ships would take decades, and Ukraine is not giving Russia that kind of time. Even worse, the Montreux Convention strictly limits what warships can pass through the Turkish Straits. Russia cannot move reinforcements from the Baltic Fleet, the Northern Fleet, or the Pacific. Every ship lost in the Black Sea is a permanent and irreplaceable loss. There is no way to borrow from other fleets. Whatever is in the Black Sea is all Russia has left, and it is shrinking fast. This creates a vicious cycle. Fewer ships mean longer patrols, less maintenance, and greater fatigue. Tired and poorly maintained ships break down more easily and become even easier targets for Ukrainian drones. Every loss makes the next loss simpler. Repairs are almost impossible because the advanced radar and control systems on the bridges cannot be replaced under sanctions. Even Chinese parts create massive compatibility problems with 50-year-old Soviet designs. The psychological blow is enormous. Russian sailors once sailed with confidence. Now they operate in constant fear, knowing Ukrainian drones can strike at any moment. The flagship Moskva, worth $750 million, was sunk 4 years ago, and Russia has still not replaced it. Since then, not a single new large warship has been added to the Black Sea fleet. Ukraine has achieved something historic. A country with virtually no traditional navy now controls the Black Sea through asymmetric warfare. Missiles, naval drones, aerial drones, mines, and special operations have been woven into a single deadly strategy that improves with every strike. The recent Sevastopol attack represents the peak of this evolution. It did not just destroy ships, it blinded radars, cut communications, eliminated patrol boats, and burned fuel depots all in one coordinated blow. The strategic reality is now a nightmare for Russian logistics. Crimea is being transformed from a fortress into a failing island. The destruction of these large landing ships, the Saratov, Novocherkassk, and now the Yamal, has severed the maritime umbilical cord. Russia can no longer rely on a sea bridge to ferry heavy armor and ammunition to the southern front. Every ship resting on the seabed of Sevastopol puts more pressure on the fragile Kerch Bridge and the vulnerable overland rail lines. Ukraine is methodically tightening a noose around Crimea, making the cost of occupation militarily and economically unsustainable. The geopolitical consequences are massive. Russia once treated the Black Sea as its own private lake. It projected power into the Mediterranean and beyond. That power projection has now collapsed. NATO's southern flank is safer. Romania and Bulgaria face far less maritime threat. Turkey has been relieved of Russian pressure on the straits. And Ukraine's grain export corridor has been indirectly strengthened because Russian warships are no longer in any position to threaten commercial shipping. From an arms export perspective, this is a nightmare for Russia. Who wants to buy weapons from a navy that is being dismantled by cheap drones? Russia's global arms sales were already declining. Every burning ship in Sevastopol accelerates that decline. The irony is total. Putin launched this invasion to prevent Ukraine from joining the West. Instead, he has witnessed the total evaporation of a 240-year naval legacy. Sevastopol, once the pride of the Tsars, is now a graveyard for a fleet that has nowhere left to hide. This is the new face of 21st century warfare, asymmetric, brutal, and unforgiving. As the smoke clears over the Black Sea, one thing is certain. The era of Russian maritime hegemony is dead. But the question remains, with the fleet crippled and Crimea isolated, what is Putin's next move? Will he retreat, or will the desperation of a cornered superpower lead to an even more dangerous escalation? Let us know your theory in the comments below. As smoke continues to rise from the burning wrecks in Sevastopol Bay, Putin's dream of Black Sea dominance is burning with them, and that legend will never return. Let me ask you again while the fires are still burning. Do you believe Russia can ever regain control of the Black Sea? Or has Ukraine already delivered a fatal blow to Putin's fleet? Tell me your thoughts in the comments right now, because this collapse is happening live and your voice matters. This is the new reality of modern warfare. Ukraine has shown the world that you do not need a traditional navy to win a naval war. You only need to understand the battlefield better than your enemy. The rules are being rewritten in real time, and Russia is paying the price. Stay locked in, because the situation in the Black Sea is still developing at lightning speed. New strikes could come at any moment, and the pressure on Russian forces continues to mount. Thank you for watching. If you want more real-time updates on these historic developments, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next breaking report from the front lines. Drop your comments below and let us know what you think about the future of naval warfare. We will see you in the next update. Disclaimer. Dieses Video enthält Inhalte, die ganz oder teilweise durch künstliche Intelligenz erstellt oder unterstützt wurden. Das Material dient ausschließlich der Simulation, Illustration und Unterhaltung. Es stellt keine realen Ereignisse, keine politischen oder militärischen Ratschläge und keine verifizierten Informationen dar. Einzelne Elemente können fiktional dramatisiert oder ungenau sein. Zuschauer sollten dieses Video nicht als zuverlässige Informationsquelle oder Grundlage für reale Entscheidungen verwenden.